Okay, welcome everyone. Okay, it's our monthly wellness Zoom. I am so excited to see you guys here live tonight, or if you are watching the recording, I'm so glad you're taking the time to listen. If you don't know me, my name is Brittany Raup, and I have been doing a monthly wellness Zoom for the past 6 months. It's actually been since January, so we haven't missed one yet. We are down to the wire with it being the end of the month, but I'm like, we're getting this in. And I'm really excited to share with you tonight about prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics. Okay, so let me know in the chat if any of those are familiar to you. Have you heard of prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics? Or maybe what have you not heard of? What's unfamiliar? Because we are going to talk all about it. We're going to get into it tonight. But I want to, let me pull up our chat here. Never heard about postbiotics. Okay, cool. That was newer for me too. And that's honestly part of the reason I wanted to dive into this is because I wanted to learn more about postbiotics because I keep hearing about them and I'm really excited to share what I've learned. So I am going to tell you a quick story. Then we're going to dive into what these things are and how they work. And then I'm going to end with an invitation for you because I have a very practical and simple way that you can incorporate these into your plan, into your daily life. Okay, so let's start with the story. The story is I am new to gardening. Anyone else? Anyone else new to gardening this year? Or maybe you're a professional. Tell me if you garden. Do you grow things? Vegetables, flowers. This is all new to me, but we last year bought a super old farmhouse and we've been fixing it up. And one of the things I really wanted to do was to have a garden, right? Fresh vegetables, all the things. And I was super excited tonight. I made a salad with my own spinach that I grew and my little tiny carrots that I grew. And I seriously felt so happy. I can't even tell you. Yeah, it felt so good. So I'm new, I'm a novice, I'm learning. But when we got to this property and we saw there was this huge, garden spot, the first thing we did was to fix the frame, right? If you are going to grow vegetables, I live in Pennsylvania. We've got deer, we've got bear, we've got all kinds of stuff running through the yard all the time. If I had taken all the time to plant the seeds and water the flowers and put fertilizer down and take care of it, but I hadn't fixed the frame, right? Hadn't made a barrier and protected that garden, it kind of would have been for nothing, right? Like it might have done well, but things would have come in and just destroyed it. And so this is going to be our analogy for tonight as we talk about our gut health and prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics. We're going to keep coming back to this idea of a garden because it works so well. Your body wants to heal, right? We know that our bodies can heal, and our job is to create the right environment for it to do so. Just like if you are preparing for a garden, you have to create the right environment. The barrier is really important. The seed is really important. The fertilizer is really important. And when we're talking about gut health, prebiotics, we're going to get into the details, but I'll give you the overview first. Prebiotics are like fertilizer. They help the good stuff to grow. Probiotics are like the seeds, and postbiotics are like the results of the garden, the fruit, the flowers, all the beneficial compounds that are produced by a thriving garden. And the gut lining is like the barrier, it's the fence, it's the gate, it's the thing keeping it all together and protecting it. It's also like the soil that everything's growing in. Okay, so this garden analogy is super helpful when you're thinking about your gut microbiome. So has anyone ever heard everything starts in the gut and wondered if that's actually true? Have you guys heard that? Like everything starts in the gut. There's an old quote by Hippocrates that basically like all health is connected to gut health. So you've probably heard that. Okay, Jody said yes. So your gut is more than just your digestion, right? We think like, oh, that's just digesting my food. But your gut health is connected to immune function, it's connected to inflammation, metabolism. Sometimes weight loss starts with getting your gut healthy. And it's like, what? For me, when I got my gut healthy, my skin cleared up. So, your skin health, your hormones, your mental health, that gut brain axis is a serious thing. That is a serious connection. Your gut is called your second brain because there are so many connections and wirings. And second to your brain, it has the most nervous system activity of any other part of your body. It's also connected to your energy. So your gut health is really at the base, the root of all different body systems. 70% of our immune system is associated with the gut, and your mood is so dependent. Most of your serotonin production is actually done in your gut. So when your gut health is off, everything can really be off. You may have heard this before, but we actually have more gut bacteria cells than we have human cells. We're more bacteria than we are human as far as the number, but they're teeny tiny. But that's amazing, right? There's so much activity going on in our gut that we don't always think about until we have a problem. But your gut contains trillions of microorganisms. You've got bacteria, good and bad. You've got some fungi, you might have some virus activity going on, you've got microbes. So your gut is like this garden ecosystem. And some organisms that are in your gut help you to thrive, right? We need these beneficial bacteria. And some become problematic when they're out of balance. When that gut garden is healthy, your digestion improves, your inflammation decreases, your metabolism functions better, and your mood and immune function improve. Signs that your gut is not healthy, and maybe you can just tell me if any of these symptoms sound familiar. I'll just list them off: bloating, constipation, diarrhea, reflux, food sensitivities, huge one, right? We see a lot now. Fatigue, brain fog, anxiety, skin issues, sugar cravings. If any of those resonate with you, you may have something connected to your gut health that would help, that you can improve these symptoms by working on your gut. Many of these symptoms have multiple causes, but often they point us right back to the gut. And I was amazed when I started working on my gut health how many things improved. I was like, is my adult acne going away because that was a gut thing? I thought that was a skin thing, right? I've been putting things on my skin to try to help that. And it was really like an inside out manifestation that I had yeast overgrowth. I had imbalanced gut. And so many things. Like if you're looking to improve your health, it really starts in the gut. So let's dive into these different things: our prebiotics, our probiotics, our postbiotics. And does anyone remember from, I don't know, maybe 10th grade, what biology is the study of? Like that definition. What does bio mean? Anyone want to take a guess? You can put it in the chat. We'll see if anybody knows. It's a pop quiz. The study of, yes, Chelsea, the study of life, the study of living things, right? That little word bio, that's the root of all these words. If we're just doing a little grammar here, I'm actually teaching grammar this fall at our homeschool co-op, and I'm a grammar nerd, so I like love looking at words. But bio means life or living thing. So probiotic is for or towards life. It's like the life-giving. Prebiotics, pre means before. Okay, so before the life-giving things. Postbiotics, post means after. So after the life-giving things. Antibiotics, against the life-giving things, right? When you're taking antibiotics, you're trying to kill those organisms. And so just knowing what the words mean can be helpful as you think about them. So prebiotics. Prebiotics are like fertilizer. Okay, going back to that garden, they are the fertilizer. They feed the beneficial bacteria and they help it to flourish. So you may know that you have Akkermansia in your gut. You can take Akkermansia, or you can take or consume prebiotics that help your Akkermansia to grow and flourish. All right, so it's like fertilizer. There are prebiotics in our foods. Some examples are onions, garlic, asparagus, oats, bananas and apples, and legumes. Okay, so those are kind of fun. Just to know, like, oh, when I'm eating onions and garlic, when I'm sauteing my veggies, I'm actually getting some good prebiotics. It's helping my gut bacteria to flourish. So prebiotics don't actually contain bacteria. They feed the good bacteria that is already living inside you. There is prebiotics that you can also take, like supplement with, because honestly, our foods tend to be a bit lacking in the nutrients they should have just because of overproduction and picking things too early and pesticides that are used and all that. So you can take prebiotics. One that I really like is called XOS, and that is an abbreviation for a very long name. But that helps to increase your akkermansia. It's in one of the supplements that I use that I'll tell you about at the end of our call. And that can be a great way to make sure that you're getting the prebiotics in if you're not getting enough of the prebiotic foods. Okay, so pre is fertilizer. Probiotics, these are like the seeds. Okay, so if you were planting a garden, the probiotics would be the seeds. We are putting in the live beneficial microorganisms that help to support a healthy microbiome. Wow, Chelsea, good job. I was not going to attempt to pronounce that, but that is XOS, what she just put in the chat. Very good job. Okay, so probiotics are alive. They are living organisms. They are super important for your digestion and for your gut microbiome. You can get these from food. These are probably the things you're familiar with. So food sources include yogurt, kefir. I love kefir water. I'll talk about that more in a little bit. Sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, fermented vegetables, right? Like all the fermented foods, sourdough. If you do a long fermented sourdough, you will get those probiotics in. But why might food not be enough? Okay, so for many people, food alone may not be enough to restore balance to your gut, especially if you're having symptoms of leaky gut or a gut imbalance. I absolutely encourage fermented foods. I just taught a sourdough class earlier this week. I'm all for it, but I also take probiotics because our gut microbiomes have been impacted. They've been put under a lot of stress by antibiotics. One round of antibiotics can disrupt your gut microbiome for a whole year. Okay. And like antibiotics, I'm not against them. I think sometimes they're helpful, sometimes they're needed, but you just have to know that they do wreak havoc on your good bacteria as well as killing bad bacteria. So antibiotics, processed foods, very inflammatory for our gut. Chronic stress, that's a big one, having cortisol just high all the time. Environmental toxins, which we are exposed to so many from plastics and fragrances and all of the things. Poor sleep, illness, and even aging just affects your gut microbiome. So eating sauerkraut is wonderful, but if your gut has been under stress for years, sometimes more intentional support, more focused support can really be helpful. Okay. So probably I'm guessing you have a probiotic in your house somewhere. Most people do, right? Besides multivitamins, probiotics are like the number 2 supplement that people have. But not all probiotics are the same. Different strains do different jobs. So there are lots of strains out there. I'm just going to highlight 2. There is the lactobacillus strain, and these support digestion. They help with lactose intolerance. They're good for women's health, and they do support your intestinal barrier. And then there's the bifidobacterium strain. These ones more focus on immune function, keeping you regular and reducing inflammation in the gut. So it is good to have a probiotic with multiple strains. There are other strains that support mood and metabolism and your gut barrier integrity. So you want to look for multiple strains, and freeze dried is the best way to have a probiotic. So if you have to keep your probiotic in the fridge, it's not freeze dried. And so it's breaking down a lot in the bottle. When you take freeze dried probiotics, they get actually delivered to your gut where they can do their job. They're not just breaking down in the bottle. You may look at your probiotic and see how many CFUs it has. So CFU stands for colony forming units, and that simply means the number of live microorganisms in the probiotic. So it could be like 1 billion or 10 billion or 50 billion, but I just want you to know that more isn't always better. Okay, that delivery of the probiotics is what's more important, because you could have 50 billion CFU, but if it's all breaking down in the bottle, that's not being delivered to your gut. Okay, so probiotics have to survive manufacturing and storage and transportation, and then your stomach acid, right? So most high quality probiotics are going to use freeze drying in order to keep the bacteria in like a sleep state until they reach your gut, and then they wake up and they are active. Okay, so probiotics are living organisms, but you can't just throw seeds onto unhealthy soil and expect a thriving garden, right? So that brings us to postbiotics. And this was the one that was kind of new territory for me, but I've been hearing about it a lot. It might be new for you. So post means after, right? So this is the fruit of a healthy garden, or like the results. So for years, probiotics were like the star of the show, right? Everyone's on probiotics, but researchers are discovering more and more that some of the benefits that we attribute to probiotics may actually come from the compounds that they produce. So the probiotics are producing postbiotics. It's the fruit of the healthy garden. Okay. So I have some notes. I'm going to look at them to make sure I'm steering you in the right direction with these postbiotics. But postbiotics are non-living compounds. Okay. Not alive. They are created when healthy bacteria feeds on dietary fiber and does its job. Okay. So this is the result of having the right microorganisms in your system. And the things that they produce are enzymes. They produce peptides. That's kind of buzzy right now, right? People taking peptides. GLP-1 is a peptide. There are other lots of peptides, but they are produced by probiotics. It is a postbiotic. It is a result of probiotics. They also produce short chain fatty acids, very important, and metabolites and bacterial cell wall components. So they help to keep your gut lining really, really healthy and your hormones in check. Okay, so this is cool stuff. This is really cool stuff. Unlike probiotics, they don't contain any live bacteria. That means that they are actually gentle on your system. Okay, so if you take postbiotics, for many people, they are going to feel much much less detox, much calmer, like actually taking these like a settled GI system, because these are not alive. They are byproducts. They are after products. Postbiotics don't have to survive your stomach acid. They're highly stable and they can provide many of the benefits associated with probiotics. So how cool that we can isolate those postbiotics and then, add them to our routine. So some of the postbiotic compounds specifically support the gut barrier. And so when I was thinking about that garden analogy, this is the fence, right? This is the support. It's so, so important. You can be putting in all the healthy foods and all the probiotics, but if your gut barrier is like this, things are leaking out that shouldn't leak out, right? Because we all are exposed to some processed foods. We're all exposed to some food chemicals. We're all exposed to toxins and things that we do not want leaking into our bloodstream, even things like gluten and sugar, right? Like when we have a tight, strong gut barrier, you will see less inflammation. You will see less reactivity. Like if you get rashes a lot, or I'll feel like itchy if I eat too much gluten. Well, that's probably because my gut lining needs to be tightened up. When we support that gut barrier, you feel less flare-ups. And I loved hearing a story of a woman who had 5 different autoimmune diseases. One was Sjogren's, celiac, all these things. She was already eating gluten-free and dairy-free, but she was still having some flare-ups every now and then, especially when she was exposed to like fragrances and when she was traveling, maybe her diet was a little bit off. And when she added in a postbiotic supplement and tightened up that gut barrier, her flare-ups and everything went so down, and her body felt so much calmer. That was so encouraging to hear, because there's so many people that struggle with skin issues, with flare-ups, and postbiotics may be helpful. Okay, so they support that gut barrier. They help to regulate inflammation. They really support your immune function. So postbiotics can influence your T cells. So your T cells are your little fighter cells that go after infection. And again, 70% of that immune system is in the gut. So that's so important. If you find yourself sick all the time, or, always at the doctor because you got something going on, it could be gut. It could be gut related. They also support your metabolic health with blood sugar regulation, energy metabolism, and inflammatory pathways, kind of just lowering the inflammation in your body and helping your cells to actually produce energy more effectively. They provide antioxidant support. So many postbiotics will actually neutralize what's called reactive oxygen species, but basically those those oxidative stress things. Like we take antioxidants, we want to eat antioxidants to lower our oxidative stress, and postbiotics do the same thing. Super cool. And they help to maintain microbial balance. So you guys have heard of E. coli, you've heard of salmonella. There are actually studies that show that taking postbiotics can reduce the occurrence of E. coli and salmonella because you've got a strong barrier. So yeah, really, really neat stuff. There is one superstar postbiotic I was reading about called butyrate, and it's one of the most studied postbiotics. So the studies have shown that this butyrate serves as fuel for the cells lining your colon. So it keeps them healthy, it keeps them tight, it keeps that gut lining tight, and that it may support metabolic and brain health. So really, really cool. Butyrate is like premium fuel for your intestinal cells. And so when you are getting the postbiotics, it's in butter. Sweet. I love that. I love butter. It's good to know. When you are fueling your cells properly, they're going to have tight junctions. You're not going to have leaky gut, and things will stay in your GI system that shouldn't be leaking out into your bloodstream. Okay. So I know that gets like a little bit nerdy and there were some big words in there. I personally find this stuff so interesting, but I try not to make it too overwhelming. So to kind of just bring it back to a summary, prebiotics are your fertilizer, probiotics are your seeds, and postbiotics are the fruit, the flowers, the nutrients, everything that's produced by the thriving garden. And your gut lining is the soil that everything grows in. It's also the protection around. So all of it works together. I want to end with giving you guys some advice on how you can actually heal your gut, right? Because most people just buy random probiotics and hope for the best, like cross my fingers. I hope this is a good one. I don't really know. But instead, I want to encourage you to focus on four foundations. And I told you there'd be an invitation. I have a gut health group starting July 6th, and we are focusing on these four foundations. So, number one, remove what damages the gut. Okay, because if you are supplementing, but you are eating like trash, you will not heal your gut, right? So, we're going to focus on removing the inflammatory foods, not with a strict meal plan that you have to follow to a T, not with counting every calorie. No, just taking away those inflammatory foods like ultra processed foods, excess sugar and alcohol. Gluten, I think, is a really big trigger that you do well to take gluten out of the equation for a little while if you want to heal your gut. So step one, remove, get rid of the things, especially the ultra processed foods, the food chemicals, right? I always say don't count calories, count chemicals. Count calories if you want to, but before that, count chemicals. So important that we are not putting fake junk in our bodies. So inflammatory. Number two is to feed the good bacteria. This looks like vegetables and fruits and fiber and lean protein and low glycemic carbohydrates, plants, right? Lots of plants. I was reading a study that showed that people who eat 30 different plant foods per week tend to have much healthier microbiomes. And this is the perfect time, right? So many vegetables and fruits available. So lots of good nutrients, eating the food that God gave us. I think starting your meals with focusing on protein first is super important, but feeding that good bacteria. Third is to support the gut lining. Okay, this is huge. So, protein is very important for building your gut lining. Stress management and sleep are also very important. You cannot out supplement no sleep. You cannot out supplement chronic stress, right? We have to manage those things. Healthy fats like omega-3 fats are also very good. And then the fourth pillar, fourth foundation is to add the beneficial bacteria in strategically. Okay, probiotics absolutely can help. Consistency matters a lot, and it needs to be doable, right? Simple. There are so many complicated gut health routines. What I love to do is take complicated things and make them simple. Like that's where I try to really help people with their health and wellness is simplifying it. Like what can I actually do that's doable, that's not going to make me crazy, and that I can stick with, okay? So that's where the supplement routine that I use comes in. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and it's what we're using for our 4-week gut health system. It's called the gut health system, very simply named the gut health system from Plexus Worldwide. And it includes 3 products that do the prebiotic, the detox and cleanse, and probiotic. So Slim prebiotic drink, super yummy, easy to take every day, and it has that XOS prebiotic that's going to act like fertilizer. It also has chromium to help keep your blood sugar balanced, and it helps reduce inflammation. It's got so many plant-based ingredients that do the job. Okay, so that's step one. It also is BioCleanse and ProBio5. BioCleanse is magnesium, so important for your cells. Magnesium does 500 different jobs in your body. Most people are deficient. Okay, so magnesium is going to help to detox and cleanse so that as you're working on your gut health and you're getting toxins out, they actually are flushing out gently out of your system and your body is oxygenated. So, Slim BioCleanse, ProBio 5. ProBio 5 is 5 strains of freeze-dried probiotic, right? We talked about how important it is to be freeze-dried and digestive enzymes. So that's the seeds, that's getting the good stuff in. And then the last step of the system is something brand new called Armor. I love the name because Armor is the gut barrier supplement. It's like the fence for the garden. I added in Armor about a week ago, and I am already feeling a difference. My system feels very calm. So I'm someone with an autoimmune disorder. If you are someone with an autoimmune disorder, this is going to be a game changer. It is postbiotics. It is A2 colostrum and L-glutamine, which is like the fuel for your gut lining cells. Licorice, marshmallow root, some really great herbal remedies in there as well. But it is specifically designed to be gentle. The fiber in it and the postbiotics are designed to be gentle for sensitive GI systems. So if you are looking for, a gut health fix that addresses all of the things, this system that we're using is really going to be it. I really believe in the lifestyle component as well. So in our 4-week group, yes, we're going to take the supplements, but we're also going to remove the inflammatory foods. I'm going to provide an anti-inflammatory meal plan for you that just focuses on foods that support gut health. Nothing you have to follow to a T or do a perfect job with, just foods to think about adding in and to focus on as you're healing your gut. There's going to be daily accountability and weekly nutrition coaching in our group, and just really focusing on the practical habit changes using the gut health system and Armor, but focusing on the lifestyle piece too, so that you can have really lasting results that could change your whole life, right? If you're struggling with gut health and some of these symptoms I mentioned in the beginning, you could literally change your life by fixing your gut. And your body is incredibly resilient. Even if you feel like you're in bad shape gut health wise, your body can heal. You just need to provide it with the right environment, right? So I have a freebie I want to give you guys, and just like a thank you for being here. And it's 7 things you can do to improve your gut health this week. I listed these out. I have it in a PDF, and in there I link to my favorite recipe for kefir water. I don't know if anyone has experimented with kefir grains before, but these are like my favorite little probiotic things to ferment on my counter at home. It makes the most amazing seltzer, but it's totally healthy and gut friendly. So in this link, this PDF, you'll have that recipe and 7 tips, like just practical things you can do this week. So I need to pop in the chat. Let me just grab the link here. Okay, this little link is a Google form, and if you could just click it, and it has just a few questions. One of them is your email address. Put your info in so that way I can send you the PDF, and also I can invite you to next month's Wellness Zoom. So I go back to everyone who's filled out that form, and that's who gets an emailed invite to our monthly Wellness Zoom. You are always welcome to share them. This is open for anybody. It is just to kind of serve the community and give you guys wellness education that hopefully just helps you in your journey. So you can share it with anybody. You can post the little graphic that I send out, and the more the merrier. I really enjoy these. So make sure you click the link, fill out the Google form, and then when I get your email, I will send you over the PDF with 7 tips. If you want to join in our Gut Health and Armor Challenge, please just shoot me a message or put it in the chat real quick before we hop off so I can reach out to you. It's going to be great. It starts July 6th, and I'm really excited for you guys to just feel the transformation and how many things change when you fix your gut health. So I will wrap it up. I hope you guys learned something new tonight. Prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, you know all the things. You can talk about them at work now or with your family, but like, do you take postbiotics? And you'll be so smart. So thank you guys for hopping on. Have a wonderful rest of June, and I will see you on our call next month.